Welcome to Lickin' on Lending, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the mortgage industry. Your host, David Lickin, bringing you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. Whether you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, this show is your go-to source for all things mortgage. Let's get started. This is Lickin' on Lending. Now your host, David Lickin.
Listeners, you know how excited I get about innovation? I love finding new ideas. I like people that are doing old ideas in a new way. We have joining us today, Steve Wynands, who is the co-founder and CEO of Redder, R-E-T-R. If you're not using it, you got to use it. Steven, good to have you here, friend.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on the show, David.
It's a real honor. You and I are getting to know each other because we're working on a project that we can't wait to talk about down the road, a joint venture that we're working on. We're not ready to talk about that, but in preparation to that, I want to make sure my listening audience now can be as many as 90,000 in a single day are aware of you and getting to know you and are signing up for your product and services. The things that I want to get into today is innovation. But first of all, I want to get into a little bit of your background, your journey to where you're at. But one of the things I love about your bio is you celebrate your wife and you say how you find joy watching your two young children grow enthusiastic sporting interests in arts and sports. So you're a family man. I love it.
Yeah, man, they're everything to me. They're the reason I'm here, and they're the reason I do what I do. They give me so much joy.
Yeah, it is so good. There's just, I think about people that, I mean, those that choose not to have a family and things like that, I understand that, but boy, it's like, it's good they don't know what they're missing out on, because if you did, you would be mourning it for the rest of your life. So it's so exciting that you're a family man and what you do, but you're also a man of innovation. How did you get to where you're at doing the innovation? Tell us your journey to Redder.
Yeah, I accidentally got here. And I count myself as one of those 90,000 listeners that you're talking about. Never thought I'd be in this chair talking to you. And so thank you, everyone else who might be listening. I'm one of you. Never thought I'd be here building Redder for this big mortgage and real estate data platform, because, you know, I set off to just be that family man that could provide for my family, get a nice job, stable, steady income, work 9 to 5, and be there for them. With my computer engineering job, that's my background. Born and raised as a technologist, and I accidentally got into real estate because, you know, no one really sets out thinking, you know,
go there. Yep.
I want to be a realtor when I grow up, but accidentally became a realtor, rose the ranks, and then learned how the industry worked, and just saw so many things I wanted to make better. And a few pivots later, here we are building this platform, Redder, this mortgage and real estate data platform to help loan officers build better relationships with real estate agents so we can all do better for our consumers, our borrowers, our buyers.
Yeah, it's so important. And data is becoming such an important part of our lives today. I mean, AI is, and data, but it starts with data and mining the data and how it's so, but there's a lot of other companies out there doing what you're doing or working in the space that you're doing. One of the things as I get to know you, there's all these little Easter nuggets that just come out when you start learning about you, Stephen. And so share with some of our listening, share with our listening audience something that people don't know about you.
Yeah, I think we started off with that nugget in the intro. It's how much I love kids. You know, I am a technologist. I love building things, but if money didn't matter, if nothing else mattered, I would just be out there improving the lives of every child I could, giving them a better life, better education. And that's why I've loved volunteering through different programs at different schools and universities, because kids just give me so much joy, making their lives better.
And there's a story behind that.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's a reason why I put so much of my energy and focus, any free time that I have with kids. I mean, like growing up myself, I didn't have the easiest childhood. And so any opportunity that I can help improve the lives of another child out there, I want to be able to do that, because, you know, kids are so wonderful. They're so honest and innocent. Yeah.
I love that, because where you had struggles and challenges, and by the way, you're being very kind, because I know your story and we're not going to get into all the depths of it, but it was pretty horrific. And for you to now focus and dedicate your life, I think it's oftentimes where we see where we have suffered that we want to go in and make a difference in the lives of others in those same areas. I just really applaud you for that, which is something that has prompted you to build the latest, greatest technology. And so let's start with what prompted you to build Redder.
Yeah, there's two things that drive me in this world. If I see something that's unfair, I want to fix that. If I see something that's inefficient, I want to fix that. And that's exactly what I saw, and which is why I built Redder. I had no idea that there were any other solutions out there. I just wanted to make the lives of my loan officers that I use better. And I mean, this whole journey, like it didn't happen overnight. We call this the 15-year overnight success. I think it might be 16 years now,
Yeah.
but no one knows about that backstory. I'm happy to tell you about just like building this company, or if you want to go a little bit further back, I could do all that. It's whatever you want, whatever you think is useful.
I think to the extent of what you did previously contributes to what you're doing now. Yeah, go ahead, get into that a little bit.
Yeah. So, all right. So going back a little bit to the beginning of that 15-year journey, like I wanted to just be there for my kids. And so, I'm born and raised in the Northern Virginia area, really close to DC. And there is a playbook for growing up in the DC metro area. With all these government jobs, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to college, get a good job, start a family, and retire on your pension, and then just like keep that system going, send the kids off on the same old path. And, I was going down that path, and that was so important to me because my parents not being around too much when I was born, I wanted to make sure I was there for my children. And so, I was working the big consulting gigs in the DC area, those big firms that everyone knows. And then I was like, you know what? It's time. I took a big old pay cut to join the federal government so I could be that 9 to 5 clock in, clock out drone. Yeah. And I was well on that path, man. I calculated how to retire early and what I should do with my HSA accounts, FSA, all this stuff. I was like, I'm this Northern Virginia guy. I was on it. And then what ended up happening was I ended up buying and selling my first homes and thinking like, seriously, is this the value that realtors are providing for what they're getting in return? And I thought, man, that is so unfair. That's so not right. I got to go fix that. And I combined that unfairness and efficiency of technology. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to disrupt real estate agents. I'm going to get rid of all of them. And then that's not actually how the world works. So,
That's so funny.
I learned that everyone's going to need a real estate agent, and I became one myself. And as I joined the ranks of real estate agents, I realized, there's a lot of good realtors out here who are just trying to do good and feed their families. Right. And so I was like, man, they're not getting enough credit. What I need to do is let's build a system to highlight the good ones. And so we built a different startup where real estate agents were rating each other. So you can figure out who's the best of the best. Because, real estate agents, we can get our borrowers or buyers to think what we want all day, but you can't trick another real estate agent. So I built that. And then we had like 500,000 realtors logged on to that from around the country. And what I learned from that was like, we built something cool that people want. And it seems to be doing its thing, but realtors didn't want to pay anything for it.
That's so true. It's so funny you say that because it's so true. Realtors are the chief. I know we have a lot of realtors listening, so I'm not going to cast this over all y'all, but let me tell you, there's many times that is very, very true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a realtor myself. I get it now. And so I learn more as I go along and I improve on that. And so during this whole time, I built this system, right? I was a top real estate agent myself. I had 5 jobs, I think, at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was still working for the federal government. I was a top real estate agent. I was flipping homes. I had a rental portfolio, and then I had that startup. So I'm doing all these 5 things. And being a top realtor, I'm getting these calls from loan officers and title companies, all that stuff, trying to take me out to lunch and coffee, right? And so once they learned that we had this big old network of realtors logged in all over, the conversation quickly went from, hey, Steve, why don't you send a loan my way, to, you have that system, I want to throw money at you so I can advertise on it. But now I'm no longer Steve the engineer, I'm Steve the realtor. I'm like, realtors are my people, leave us alone. I don't want any spammy ad-filled website, go away. And that was it though. And going back to all this stuff, it's like, all right, I've got this system. No one's paying for it, really, not really changing our lives, but we're having fun, just making the world a better place. I'm still working 5 jobs, and the pandemic market rolls around,
yeah.
right? And so all these people that were calling me for lunch and coffee all this time, those calls like just disappeared, and I couldn't even get a call back when I reached out to a loan officer. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? But hindsight, we all know what's happening.
Yeah.
And so that's the new world order. But then sometime in 2021, I started getting calls again from all these loan officers. I got 5 calls in one day, like back to back to back. And I'm like, what is happening? And then by the third call, it's like, holy crap, I get it now. I get it. The loan officers, their number one source of income are realtor referrals, right? And so they need to build realtor relationships. And the only way to build a new real estate referral business relationship is to provide some kind of meaningful value to help us do our jobs better. And then I'm just, all the dots from the past 15 years are connecting. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like realtors, they're trying to get realtor relationships. They need to bring business value. I know what realtors need. This entire time, loan officers have been trying to pay me lots of money to get to these realtors. I'm like, wait a minute. I can't help all the loan officers out there, but I can build this to shift this power imbalance because loan officers do all this work, but they get no credit for it. I'm going to build this system, put it in the hands of loan officers. They're going to learn about it. They're going to educate their realtors. Everyone's going to get more value. The borrower's going to get better value. And then I told my buddy Steve, my co-founder Steve, who I've been building all these businesses with over the past 15 years. I'm like, Steve, got this new idea. We have to quit all of our jobs. Before we do that, let me get this home equity line of credit. And then we can quit all our jobs, build this thing. Let's go. And that's how Redder started being born.
Wow. What a great story. I love the back channeling. I mean, the back story behind the stage, how you got to where you're at. I love the story. It's entrepreneurialism. And the coming out of the background that you did, you see opportunity, not get obstacles. And that's why you're so excited to get to know. And folks, I can't wait to get into some of the things they're building right now, because I share an idea with Stephen, and we're going to get into one of those ideas now in a minute here. But we got into this. I shared. What do you think about this, Stephen? I explained the situation. He called me back 2 weeks later, says, "Hey, Licken, take a look at what I built." I'm going, son of a gun. You listened and you developed and you delivered. It was amazing what you did. So here's the concept. I'm going to lay it out there, Stephen, so I want to get into it because I'm so excited. Now, this isn't out yet, listeners. When is this, what we're about to talk about, going to be released out to the world?
Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, so maybe early September.
Good deal. So listeners, listeners, as you know, the last mortgage company I was an owner equity interest in. We were the largest consumer direct company, and we spent anywhere from $1.3 million, $1.5 million to on direct bail. And I may be off a little bit of the numbers, but today's numbers, it was about twice that money. But anyway, spent oodles of money each month sending out direct bail. And when the phone call came in, we looked at how successful are we, the conversion rates are we on that. And I had this idea: what if we tested all of our loan originators, or we actually had a call center where the initial call came into. We tested all of them and found out what their personality type is. Anyone listen to this program, you know how much I love personality types. And then let's figure out a way to match when the call comes in. Let's make a reasonable, educated guess on what type of personality they have: sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric, or melancholic, and which is also DISC. If you go direct, influencer, supportive, what's the other one? Compliant. And so whatever your DISC profile is, we would match the caller ID. We found some technology that, based on how they answered the phone call, Stephen, it was able to route the call to someone of like personality in our call center. Our conversions went up substantially. I'm sharing that story, listeners, with Stephen. He goes, interesting. I like that. I said, what if we could guess the personalities of the loan officers that you have on your platform with a reasonable guess? He goes, let me look at that. And classic Stephen, he gets that. Now I'm starting to read him. When the gears are turning, he gets even more muted in his personality. And it's like, get out of the way, because something's magical is about to happen. You have built this now. And I want to get into sharing with our audience what you have built, because from a conversation you had with me 2 weeks later, I think it was 2 weeks, you had a concept out and you continue to enhance and build on it before it's going to get released out to the world. It is a game changer. Talk about it, Stephen.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key differences in our company and everyone else. Like, you'll still find me involved in a lot of these conversations because, like the one we had, I just love hearing what's going on in your head because then that could bring so much value that we could create in our platform. And so when you
I got a
told
lot going
me,
on in my head. That's no doubt about
yeah.
that.
And so when you told me about how you could pick up on someone's personality just by how they respond on the phone, what their tone is, and then increase your conversion rates by pairing them with the right person, I was like, yeah, I think there's got to be a way we can do that in the mortgage world because with the recruiters out there, everyone's kind of, I hate being treated as a number, right? And so that's why our system is all about helping people build better relationships. And that includes mortgage companies and their loan officers. So how can you approach people in the way that they want to be approached, the way that resonates, so that one, you can actually have the conversation, so that two, you can deliver your value proposition, and then three, see if there's an actual match, because I believe there's the right place for everyone and not every place fits everyone. And so you said, you mentioned that. I was like, I think there is a way. And I was like, I just went digging into my coding cave, which we are here in my basement in Reston, Virginia. And I said, all right, how do we just do this? So I just dug, and we found hey, if we take a look at loan officers, you take all their signals, their employment history, all their social media activity, there's the way that we can load it into our AI engine and figure out what their personality is. And not because, the DISC types, right? So you're going to talk to someone who is a dominant personality, much different than you would someone who's that stability type personality. And so we take that, we can feed you different scripts or hints and tips about how you might call them or how you might email them, which will set you up for success, that second and third round to deliver your value proposition, right? And see if there's a fit.
We're going to pause this interview for just a minute to give way for an announcement from our friends at Byte Software.
Hey, everyone. Change can be tough, especially big changes, like switching your LOS, for example. At Byte, we totally get that. That's why when lenders come to us, we actually encourage them to do as many demos as they want to feel comfortable before they make their decision. We'll even give them free trials with full access to the software and access to call in to our amazing support team during the trial. If you're worried about implementations, we got you covered there too. Go to bytesoftware.com/implementation to hear real experiences from lenders just like you that have switched to the Byte platform. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, and what you did, not only now I've seen it so many times. I'm so excited about it for the listeners that are listening to this. You business owners, I'm sharing this idea. Now we're adding another element to this that we're not going to talk about yet because until that's ready, we're in beta on that. But what you develop is that you give tools. When talking to David Licken, you're going to want to use stories. You're going to want to, because David's a classic sanguine personality. He's an influencer type. Surprise, surprise, I have a podcast. And so I love telling stories. I love getting into people's stories. And it gives me joy to share someone's story. I love it. Now, if you're talking to Steven, you're selling him and he's a loan officer. Get the stories. He's this guy that says, don't tell me about the labor pains. Show me the baby. In other words, bullet, bullet, bullet. Steven goes, I want to talk to you about a job. I see that you've done this. I see that you've done this. And I want to get to, here's the opportunity I want to present it. Steve, how's that sound? You are just cut the stories out, get to the point. So if someone's going to approach me like they would approach you, I go, how rude. You just got to the point. Don't you want to tell me a story? What are you about? That kind of thing. But if you're talking to you, you're going, I don't want to hear the story. I want to get to the point. What are you selling? What are you doing? What are we doing here? And when we start using that kind of intelligence and add that to the recruiting platform, OMG, we're going to watch conversions. Just like we saw with our inbound telemarketing, the conversion lift that we got as a result of that was significant. And what your customers are going to realize, Stephen, as a result of this, I get so excited about, because we're here to help people get into the right jobs for the right reasons and alignment. James Collins says in the book, Good to Great, get the right people on the bus, get the right people off the bus, and those that are sitting in the bus, get them sitting in the right seats. How we do that is through intentional conversations. And what you've built, Stephen, is getting us to intentional conversations. Really exciting.
Oh, that's just the start of it, right? When we iterate on this, you can go from a system of record, which we are today, pipe this into a system of action, and Oh my gosh, the things that you could
Any
do with the
system
data
of
that we
action.
have.
What do you mean?
Oh.
What do you mean by a system of action?
Yeah, the world's making a little shift, right? So systems of record having the data like we do. Yeah, a little shift. Systems of record are what you know, like the data repositories. That's the gold, right? Data's the gold. But now with AI, they're creating these systems of action that'll automate sequences for you and responses and different branches. And so that's what's happening in this world today. And so we're at a very, very interesting time in the world and mortgage as well is part of that.
Yeah, no kidding. So when you're I don't want to get into where we're going down the road, but I do want to get into where your path, without this other joint venture thing that you and I are doing together, I want to get into your long-term vision. I mean, you are an innovator. You see all these options. What are the problems that you intend to solve moving forward?
Oh, I can tell. I'm going to start off with our big hairy goal, and that
big,
is to
audacious.
become.
There you go. Yeah, good.
Yep.
BHAG.
That our BHAG is to become a part of every single real estate and mortgage transaction in America.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and that's so. A lot of people don't know. REDR stands for Real Estate Track Record. And if you've used REDR and you've looked at this button that says Instant Track Record, the track record is essentially a resume for any loan officer or real estate agent. And what I tell people is like, I ask them, you're not going to buy a used car for $5,000 without checking out the Carfax, right? Right. And so like, why would you on earth would you buy $1 million home without checking on the resume for that real estate agent and the loan officer you're working with?
Yes, so that's such a, and they should. And as consumers become more and more aware of that, that's going to be, so that's one of your visions is how to embed yourself into every single transaction.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't know, the 6 to 8 year goal. In between, we've got so much other stuff going on. And our North Star, everything that we do is to help improve that loan officer realtor relationship, that mortgage company loan officer relationship. Because this industry, what I've finally learned after like 15 years of trying to disrupt it is it's all about relationships. You can't disrupt that relationship. Let's make that relationship better. Let's find the good relationships because you know what? The borrower, the consumer, the buyer at the end of the day, they're always going to need help from professionals, whether that's realtors or loan officers.
Yeah. And this,
so that relationship.
This gets a real important point because I was just at a dinner celebrating, if it's not someone that's using REDR, it's Brian Cook, one of my good friends, new clients. I love it. We're selling his Brady's birthday. I'm sitting around with one of his loan officers. He says, Dave, I'm really concerned that AI is going to put us out of business. Loan officers out of business. I go, you couldn't be more wrong. I think this is going to enhance what it's going to enable. AI is going to enable all this new technology is you're going to be able to 10x your volume and still be able to do as good a job, if not better job than you're currently doing on the lower volume levels. And I think I want to get into what your position. You are, again, innovator, but you're also a visionary when it looks at what is possible and what does the future look like. For those that are afraid of AI, Stephen, what would you say to them? Especially in light of this relationship concept you just talked about.
That's exactly it. Figure out how to leverage it to your benefit and don't worry about it replacing you and your relationships. No robot can.
Yeah. Simple put, end of story. Mic drop moment. One of those let go. You just can't. And I think it is. And why do you think that is? I mean, I want to dig a little deeper into that just rather than the mic drop, big bold statement.
Yeah. Looking back on things, right, when we were trying to disrupt the real estate industry, and in that time, like I was going pretty crazy. So a little bit of extra background. My wife and she was carrying our first child, and what I was doing when I saw that unfairness, what I felt was unfair, and trying to disrupt the real estate industry, I was spending my nights and weekends finding people on Craigslist trying to sell their home, or random people, and just saying like, "Hey, let me help you buy and sell without a realtor," and they happily accepted it. And I was like, "Oh wow! Like all these people, we're saving them tens of thousands of dollars, or we're making college affordable for them because we're saving them all this commission. We're giving them access to these vacations because they're saving all this money." But at the end of it, they would always say like, "Steve, we couldn't have done it without you. You should get a license." And I didn't understand why when we went through this, but now I do. The reason is because this process, although it feels or seems easy to me, it's a very rare thing that happens. You buy a house like once every 5, 7, 10 years.
Yep.
you forget the pain. And when you forget it and you've got that $1 million transaction, what happens? You get afraid. That fear creeps in, that self-doubt creeps in. And then you look for that professional. And that's why that's not going away. But then where do you look today? Some people will look for ChatGPT. Some people will ask Google, but you get the AI answers. And what's going to happen is when that answer is wrong, once, twice, 3 times, and that messes up someone else's $1 million property, they're going to lose that trust and faith, and they don't want their $1 million to be at jeopardy. Their $500,000, their even $200,000 home to be in jeopardy. They're going to go back and look to all right, who has done this 5, 10, 20 times? I can just ask and make sure that I don't put my money at risk. That's what's going to happen.
That's so true. Yeah, it's really, really true. You just summed it up really, really well, and I think that's why those that are in this business that are focusing on the relationship, leveraging technology, are going to win at this game in exponential ways that most people cannot imagine. I really see a day where we're going to see a loan officer doing 200-300 loans a month because of them leveraging technology. And so like, oh, you only do 50 loans a month? I mean, right today, you find that someone's doing 50, 60, 70 loans a month. I have a couple. Brian Cook's one of those guys that does 80 loans. We start looking at guys like that. You go like, they're freaks of nature, but they won't be. Those guys are going to be like at the bottom of the pile in the future if you're only doing 50, 60, 70, 80 loans a month. That's where we're heading to. And with your technology, what you're building, aligning people up, Stephen, it gets so exciting. As we wrap this up, what are the things you people need to know about you and Rudder that are really important?
Yeah, Rudder, we just love building stuff. And our key values, they're our guiding principles for everything: honesty, integrity, and fairness. Our philosophies are we want to give more than we get. We don't want to be just an unused gym membership. We want to innovate and provide you with lots of value. And so if there's any way that data might be able to support you in your business and you've got some ideas and you want a partner that loves building stuff that'll make a difference in your lives, please reach out to us. Reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation and learn like what else is going on out there that we could build and innovate on.
Yeah. Because if you have a conversation with Stephen, here's a good idea. He's going to innovate on it. How can people reach you, Stephen?
Yeah, LinkedIn's a great spot. So there's only one Stephen Wynands. So I'll be very easy to find.
Let's get it spelled. It's Wynands for those that are listening on this. Wynands. You can find him on LinkedIn. He connects with you quickly, and he's got a great team. I love the people. I've been now on the phone with the vast majority of your team, and I got to tell you, got a great group of people you've got surrounding yourself. That's such an important part of this. Any successes, it's not built on one person. It's built on a team.
That's exactly it. It's come join the Rudder family, man. My co-founder I've known since 7th grade, his wife since 4th grade. And our first hire over here was my top loan officer. And so we just surround ourselves with good people, stay in each other's orbit, and just do cool stuff together. Have fun doing it.
Speaking of being in an orbit, I'm so blessed and honored to be in your orbit and have you in mine, friend. I'm looking forward to it. I like that one stage you says, we're not going to allow for unused health club memberships. We're going to make sure everyone's active. That's good. What a great time with you, Stephen. I loved it. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with our listeners.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you, everyone else, for making it to the end here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We have a 98% listen through rate. It's a statistics unheard of in the podcast world. So it's because of guys like you sharing their story in the way you did that allows that to happen. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. Folks, podcasts like this is made possible by our sponsors, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of them and encourage you to check them out. Byte Software, First Close, Angel AI, True, Candid, Mortgage Bankers Association of America, Lenders One, Modex, Rudder, Mortgage Advisory Tools, and Fuel. Listeners, like, subscribe to this podcast, and share this one with others. This one is one of those really fun ones because of Stephen. And if you knew Stephen, he turned on the energy for this one because he's normally a little bit more quiet and more muted, but it was delightful to have him here. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, everyone. Look forward to having you back soon.
You've been listening to Lykken on Lending. Our passion is to bring you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. So on this show, if you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, it's your go-to source for all things mortgage. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Lykken on Lending.